The next step in making a little creature is putting the face and details onto it. This process is known as applique. Applique is when you take one fabric and you sew it onto another fabric to make designs. I have a front and a back to my little creature, and I don't want to sew my eyes and so forth all the way through because that would sew these two pieces together. So I'm going to take this back piece and I'm going to put it away in a safe place, either in my bin or at my table, somewhere safe. And then I went and I visited the felt box, and then I got some different little pieces of felt that I'm interested in using. Now, if I wanted a perfect circle, I could get a piece of paper and I could trace something, or I could draw the shape I wanted on the paper, and then I would cut that out of the paper, and then I would have my pattern piece. If I do that with paper, I would then pin my pattern piece onto my felt, just like we did when we pinned our monster pattern piece onto the felt. I'd pin my pattern piece on and I would cut it out and then I would put it on. I don't have to use a pattern though when I'm doing my details of my creature. For this creature, I am going to go ahead and just free cut some shapes. And I am going to make these shapes his eyebrows. And then I am going to make some little eyes. And then I am going to make a mouth shape here. I have a little purple mouth here on my guy. And then I think that I want this guy, I want him to be wearing a tie. So I'm going to attempt to freehand cut a tie. See if I can do it. Almost there. There we go. That is his little tie. And I think he looks like maybe he's like an announcer of some sort. And so I am also going to give him, I'm going to give him a microphone. So this is the top of the microphone that I'm cutting. And, well, maybe it looks more like a lollipop. Maybe I need to make the top of my microphone. Changing my plan. Don't like the pink top. We're going to just use this black here. Use that as a microphone. I think that's a better microphone. So then, remember these little pieces, again, all this little tiny stuff, don't put that back in the box. If you want to use it, go ahead, but don't put it back in the box. It makes a big mess. So that would go in the garbage. But all of these pieces, these can all go back into the felt box. Now I have my guy ready here. The next step would be to sew these pieces on, and you guys have practiced the whip stitch and the straight stitch. For these pieces that are in the middle of something, which stitch are you going to use? If you said straight stitch, you're right. And same with this. Although this piece, I think this piece you could sew on now, or you could sew on when you connect the back to the front. But straight stitch, you're going to put this stuff on. But check it out. If I pick it up, it'll stay, sort of. But as I work on it, I might knock these pieces off. So I have a couple options. One, I can pin them all in place, push it in, make a mountain go through. Or two, I could pin all that stuff on, sew each piece individually. Or two, I just take all the pieces off that I'm not going to do right at that moment. And I would just sew that one eyebrow on. When I'm sewing, if I want my threads to blend in, I would use green. If I want it to stand out, I'd use some other color that would stand out. And I would decide, am I going to have my thread stand out, or am I going to have my thread blend in? That's how you do your details of your little creature. After you've got all the details sewn on, you would then put your two pieces together, and then you would stitch around the edge, leaving a hole for stuffing. and then we stuff it, and then we would hand sew that little hole shut. So again, just as a reminder, we're going to get felt from the felt box. We're going to cut that felt into the shapes that we want. We're going to place those shapes onto our creature. Here we go. I have to try to remember how he was set up. There he goes. There's my creature. Remember that you don't want to attach your pieces to your back, only to your front. And then after it's attached, you would then attach your back to a front, leaving a hole so you can stuff it and then sew the hole shut. Some people do like to do faces on both sides, which is fine. I could do a face on this side, and then I could flip this side over. I could do a face here, and then I could attach them. And that is how we put together our little creature.